welcome to this new video. Your Italian teacher is here, and this time I will give you tips on how to remember words better. When you start learning a new language, that is something that can be quite daunting. So you have to learn lots of words, and so that can seem pretty hard. Tips are based partially on my experience as a teacher, so what I've seen happening with my students of Italian, and partially on my experience as a student, so what I've gone through all the times that I've started learning a new language. So what I've also seen working better for me personally. And of course, these are a whole bunch of tips, and you also need to do your own exploring. So what I mean is that you can decide to use one of them, you can decide to use all of them. You have to see what works best for you. So what is the best for you, what is actually helping you learning. So the first tip is write the words down. This is the same tip that I've also given with irregular verbs, so in my previous video. Writing down, repeating, that helps, because actually to remember a new word, you need to see it or use it at least 3 times. So writing it down will help you remember it. What you can do is something that I myself have also done. You can write new words that you learn alphabetically. So you pick, like a phone book, and so under the letter A, you write all the words beginning with a letter. Under the letter B, you write all the words beginning with the letter, and so forth. And something extra, if you are more advanced, so if you are just starting learning a new language, what you can write next to the new word is just the translation in your own language. But if you are more advanced, and actually so you are also supposed to having to learn probably fewer words compared to when you start, but you will keep learning new words anyways, no matter what level you are. And so if you're more advanced, what you could try to do is next to the new word write a definition, a small definition in the language that you are learning. So not just a translation in our own language, but also a small definition in the language they are learning. That will help you tremendously, because you will really need to think about the new word. You will need to use all that you know, so it would be an extra way to actually practice the language that you are learning. So second tip, what can help is not only writing them down, but also pronouncing them. Also there, it doesn't matter how many times, pronounce them over and over until you are happy. And pronunciation can actually be quite tricky, because the sounds are made by moving whatever you have in your mouth, even using your teeth, your tongue, like everything that you have, even your throat. You use everything to produce those sounds, and you are used to move those things, to use those things in a particular way because of your mother tongue. But when you learn a new language, it's not only a matter of having those new sounds, but it's actually a matter of having to move in a new way to produce them, to produce those sounds. So if you read them aloud, trying to produce the sounds, understand where it has to be, get used to the sound of the language that you're learning. Also, by listening to it first. Listen to it get used to those sounds and try to reproduce them by reading the new words aloud. It can even seem, ridiculous, or it can feel strange, but what actually helps is in front of a mirror. If you go in front of a mirror and start looking at yourself, looking at what you're doing, that actually helps. Can seem strange, but it helps if you use a mirror and see what you are doing, or at least try to feel it. So this is for tip number 2. Tip number 3. Reason in synonyms and contraries. So, for example, you learn the word for old, vecchio, in Italian. Now, when you encounter the word nuovo, new, you try to remember that meaning, but what can help is, if you already know the word for old, vecchio, try to remember, okay, nuovo is its contrary. So basically what you will need to remember is 50%. You just have to remember the first word, and then the second word you just say, okay, it's the contrary. Or it's a synonym, like, the word for much, many, a lot. In Italian, we have a couple of words to say that, and one is tanto, and the other one is molto. So those are sort of synonyms. So if you focus on one, like molto, and then when you encounter tanto, what you focus is on remembering, okay, it's a synonym for molto. Then what you actually need to remember is one word, because the other one will come as a consequence. So reasoning in synonyms and contraries that can help. Tip number 4: make groups of words based on, start from the verb and then make the noun connected to it, or make the adjective connected to it. For example, if you learn the verb studiare, to study, then you meet the word for student, studente. So if you remember that it's connected, so if you create in your mind this map where you start from studiare, the verb, studente, noun, so the person that does it, a student, and then you go to the adjective studioso, so which is a person that likes to study, that is eager on studying. So if you remember studioso, okay, it's connected to studiare, is someone that likes studying. So you create all this map, and actually the meaning that you will have to remember is one, because then everything is connected to that. You don't need to every single time learn that meaning anew. Tip number 5, what you can also do is try to connect words that belong to the same field. What I mean is, for example, you learn something related to the kitchen, like you learn how to say table, how to say plate, how to say glass. And so you group them together with the kitchen. You remember they're all words related to the kitchen. And so if you keep doing that, you create connections between them. And so this is also something that can help you. So you group them according to what they have in common, basically. So if they have in common the fact that they are found in a kitchen, that's how you group them. If they have in common the fact that they are related to the weather, that's how you group them. So this is something that can also help. And because, the secret to remembering the word is not only repeating, but also create connections. Because also, in your brain, you remember something because it's what you use more, than other things. So it's what it comes more to surface. So if you connect the words between them, that will help them come to surface and you will remember them better. And so last tip is make sentences with the words that you learn. I've stressed already many times how important it is to make your own sentences. This is another case in which it's important, or better, another reason why it's important to make the sentences, because it helps you remember the words. Because you remember a word better when you say it in its context. Like, something that you can do if you encounter a word and you have already seen that word, but you don't remember the meaning. So, you say a word in a sentence, say, oh, okay, but I've seen this already in another sentence or in a dialogue, but I can't remember it. Go back to the dialogue. Try to remember what that sentence, where you saw that word, means. So try to remember what that sentence means, because that will help you remember also the new word. The words need to be used in context. That's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Of course, as always, if you have comments or questions, please post them. And thanks for watching. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel and give a thumb up to my videos. And see you next tutorial. Ciao, ciao!